So the Galaxy S26 Ultra, it is an amazing smartphone, but so is the Google Pixel 10 Pro. So which smartphone is right for you? I'm gonna be doing a full comparison between them, and the winner might surprise you. My name is Zach with Android Digest, and let's get right into this comparison. So I know everyone tends to have their favorite smartphone brand, but recently I've seen a lot of sales out there from Google on the Pixel 10 Pro and the Pixel 10 Pro XL that make those phones seem very, very appealing. Right now I'm seeing the Pixel 10 Pro on sale all the way down to $750. And you could find that phone even cheaper if you get one of those open box deals from Best Buy. That is absolutely insane, especially for a really good flagship phone. And right now, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, it's not on sale at all. So if you buy that, you're gonna pay $1,300, and that is a huge difference compared to the Pixel 10 Pro XL or even the regular Pixel 10 Pro. And that's why this comparison is so interesting. If I'm just looking at the raw specs, I would say Samsung is going to win every time. Now yes, I do understand, generally speaking, you should expect some sales on the S26 Ultra too. You might find it around $1,000 if you find a pretty good deal. But even in that case, you are going to still save a lot of money going with Google. And some people actually prefer having a smaller phone. So the Google Pixel 10 Pro, it's going to be right for a lot of people. Google isn't focusing as much on the benchmarks. They're not just trying to hit the best marks on Geekbench. They are trying to provide you a very good overall experience, and I've had a great experience on my Pixel 10 Pro. So there are pros and cons to both phones, but overall you're going to get a flagship experience on both devices. If it is the Pixel 10 Pro, it's going to be a great experience with super fast performance, a great display, there's going to be a lot to love with it, and if you go with the S26 Ultra, you're going to get the same type of thing. Yes, you will get a little bit more from Samsung, but again, it depends on who you are, what you prefer, and what type of money you want to spend. So let's first start by looking at the design. I've got the Google Pixel 10 Pro here, so of course you're going to see a design that is a little bit smaller because the phone is like 6.3 inches. Now if you go with the S26 Ultra, of course it's going to be massive, a 6.9 inch display. And if you want something that massive on Google's side, you could still get the XL version anyway. Now if I'm trying to decide which design I actually prefer, I do prefer the design of the Google Pixel 10 Pro. And it's mainly because it has that camera visor on the back. And that is very significant because if you put your phone down on a table, you're not going to have to worry about any wobble. But overall, both phones do feel very premium. I don't think you're going to notice a significant difference as far as the materials or anything like that. But the big bonus with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, it's going to be the S Pen. If you are someone that wants a stylus with your device, you don't have a lot of options out there. So of course you could go with last year's S25 Ultra if you want to save some money, or the S26 Ultra, but of course, if you want that stylus to use for note-taking or documents, then yes, I would recommend the S26 Ultra. Not to mention the fact that, well, it doesn't have Bluetooth, but still, it does have some good note-taking features. But other than that, I do prefer the look of the Google Pixel 10 Pro, so it does depend. Now there is one other extra you're going to get from Google, and that is those Qi 2 magnets. Because now if you want to wirelessly charge, if you want to use something that actually has MagSafe in it, you don't need a case for that. You could just prop up your Google Pixel and you could prop it right on those magnets with the device itself. And Samsung, they have to rely on cases for that. So it really depends when you're looking between these designs on if you do prefer the magnets from the Google Pixel 10 Pro or if you prefer the S Pen from the S26 Ultra. Now if we move on to the display, I would say the display is going to lean a little bit towards Samsung, but honestly it's not by much, and that's because we do have that new privacy display, and that is a big deal if you care about that. It's a feature you could turn on in the software, but it is a hardware level feature that Samsung did actually add to their phones to turn off certain pixels around the edges so people around you can't see what you're doing. So it is really cool if you do want to use it, or if you want to turn it on for certain apps or certain banking apps, but realistically, it's not that big of a deal. Most people aren't going to use this much at all. If they do, it's going to be for very specific situations. But on the Google Pixel 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL, you're going to get an excellent display. I know my 10 Pro looks great. Of course, it has a great AMOLED screen. Both screens are 120 Hz anyway. So if you are looking at the S26 Ultra or this, it's just going to be a preference. I think a big thing for people is what size of screen do you want? If you want a smaller display, I love how Google did provide a premium option with a smaller screen. Because 6.3 inches, it still is actually fairly large, but I'm really not liking the fact that Samsung doesn't give us a premium option. The S26 is not a super premium option in my opinion, because it doesn't have those great cameras from the S26 Ultra. But there is one feature that really does help the Galaxy S26 Ultra stand out against pretty much every other phone, and it is the anti-reflective display. Now I know if you do put a tempered glass screen protector on your screen, of course you won't notice much of a difference at that point in time. But if you do like to use the screen by itself, the S26 Ultra has an amazing anti-reflective coating, and that does make a massive difference when you're using the screen day to day, especially if you like to use it outside. You really do have a lot going for the S26 Ultra, but the Pixel 10 Pro, it is still pretty good, and it does have good brightness levels. But they are very similar in brightness levels. We're talking about over 3,000 nits of brightness, okay? So both of these displays, they look great. I don't think the screen is going to be that big of a difference, unless you care a lot about the privacy display. Now, if you move on to performance, that is where things get a little tricky. Because day to day, I don't think you're going to notice much of a difference at all between the S26 Ultra and the Pixel 10 Pro. Performance is going to feel nearly identical. Google is known for having very smooth software, and the software does fly through like all the stuff I'm doing. It feels great when I'm using the Pixel 10 Pro. But you are going to get far better benchmarks on the Galaxy S26 Ultra because it does have that new Snapdragon processor. And if you want the latest Snapdragon processor, if you go with the S26 Ultra, it means you're going to be able to game on very high settings. You're going to have a better gaming experience. You're going to have a better emulation experience. And performance will be better on some minor things that most people won't do anyway. So if you're someone that just wants to go from app to app and you just want to experience all the apps on your phone, you might do some occasional gaming, but maybe not too much. The Pixel 10 Pro will be more than enough for you. It is still flagship level performance in my opinion. It does, again, fly through stuff on my phone, and I don't have to worry about slowdowns or hiccups or anything like that. But if you look at the S26 Ultra, it is really the pinnacle of performance, and that is going to be a big difference maker. I don't think it's going to be such a big deal that you have to worry about it, but some people do want that extra performance, and there is no doubt you are going to get that from Samsung. So next, we need to talk about the cameras. But before we do that, I want to talk about an accessory that has helped me get amazing photos and videos with both of these phones, and that is the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, our sponsor. The Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, it is a 3-axis gimbal, and it holds your phone while you're shooting footage so you can get incredibly stable footage while you're also getting great object tracking. It has a selfie stick as well, so you could use it for vlogging and even a tripod for those times that you want to set your phone down to get some good shots. And if you want to use the Insta360 app, you could still record in 4K 60 frames per second with access to all of the native camera lenses. It has so many great features, but the object tracking in this app is incredible, and the face tracking in particular, it is also next level. And if you want to use this for B-roll, you just have to select the object you want and it will track that object for you. So I absolutely love the object tracking here. And if you decide you want to use the native camera app, you could still get this awesome AI tracker, and it can track your face from this camera app or even from other social media apps if you use things like Instagram or TikTok. There's so much I love about this accessory, and it makes taking pictures and videos, it makes it so much better on my Pixel 10 Pro and on my Galaxy S26 Ultra. So if you own a Google Pixel 10 Pro or a Galaxy S26 Ultra, or maybe you even own another phone, why not check out this accessory, the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro? You can check out the links in the description. The first 10 orders will receive up to 20% off and also a free MagSafe mount. So check out those links, it is definitely worth buying. And with all that being said, let's get back to our video, where we will go into detail about the cameras on the Pixel 10 Pro and the Galaxy S26 Ultra. So when I take pictures with both of these phones, one thing that I see for myself is it's a preference thing. The photos look phenomenal if you're taking pictures up close of your family, if you're taking pictures up close of other things, you're going to get great photos on both of these phones. Now, if you try to take photos of things that are further away, I did notice that Samsung does have better natural photos. So if you are trying to take photos like of a flag that is pretty far away, yeah, it does look better on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. But Google, it naturally uses AI. So if you don't turn it off, if you just leave it on, and if you take a photo from further away, you'll actually get a better looking shot on the Google Pixel 10 Pro. Now, which photo do you prefer? It does depend on who you are, of course. Now, I know some people, they don't like AI, but would you rather use AI, or would you rather not be able to see something very well on a 100 times shot? Even the Samsung photo, obviously it's not going to look all that great, and if you use AI to clean it up a little bit, at least it could be usable. So if you're someone that really wants the better overall camera set, I would lean slightly towards Samsung here. But if you're someone that wants to take advantage of AI for longer zoom shots, I would lean a little bit towards Google. Now, you might lean a little bit towards Google anyway. If you look at the photos that I took, you might actually prefer how the photos look. I would say it's very subjective. When you look at Google phones, they always seem to win these blind camera tests from MKBHD. So hey, they do take terrific photos. If you're just wanting really good photos for social media and even good videos, I would say the Google Pixel 10 Pro, it does a great job. It's going to be a 50-50 thing, but Google goes neck and neck, and it even beats the Samsung when you look at zoom shots. Again, if you rely a little bit on AI. So next we should talk about battery life, because I would say Samsung does have a little bit of an edge here. Of course, it does have a 5,000 milliamp battery on the S26 Ultra. If you go with the Pixel 10 Pro XL, you'll get a slightly larger battery, and if you go with the regular Pixel 10 Pro, you're going to be a little bit worse on the battery, like around 4,800 milliamps. But either way, I would say you are going to get a better overall efficient processor on the Samsung side. So the battery life has been a little bit better. Not by a ton. Typically, I'm getting an extra hour or so of screen on time on my Galaxy S26 Ultra. But the battery life is good on all of these phones. It's just a little bit better on the S26 Ultra, but again, not so much that it makes a drastic difference to my day-to-day life. If we look at other things like charging speeds, you are going to get better charging speeds on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It's got a 60-watt charging speed. That's the max, but that is really, really good. It is an improvement over previous years, and it also has a faster wireless charging speed. We're talking about 25 watts there compared to 15 on the Google Pixel 10 Pro. So overall, if I look at everything and look at all of the factors, it really depends on who you are as far as what smartphone you're looking at. I would say you're going to get a great display, great performance, and flagship cameras on all of these devices. All of these devices are going to feel great to use. So if you are someone out there looking for a good bargain and you just want a good flagship and you want to save money, then there's no doubt you could get a great value on a Google Pixel phone. Especially if you find it on sale and then maybe you find an open box deal, you're going to find a lot of great deals on the Pixel 10 Pro or the 10 Pro XL. You're going to get a fast phone with very good cameras, with a great display, there's so much that I love, and I didn't even talk about the software differences. Samsung tends to have a little bit of extra features, and they have a lot of extra features, but so does Google. And really, Google has a lot of unique AI features. They have better voice typing on the keyboard, and Samsung also has a lot of extra camera features. So it's going to be neck and neck for sure as far as which phone is better for you. But if you want the best all-around phone, then yes, I do think it's still the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It has better charging speeds, better battery life, it's got an S Pen, better performance. I think if you go down the line of pretty much everything, I think you're going to lean a little bit towards Samsung on almost every category. But the question is it worth spending $400 or $500 extra to lean a little bit more to Samsung, or should you just save that money and go with Google? I think that is just dependent on you and what you prefer, and everyone is going to be different as far as how they answer that question. So thank you so much for watching my video here. If you really did like it, give me a like and give me a sub. That would mean a ton to my channel. You could also check the links in the description if you're interested in either one of these phones. That's a great way to get a good deal and check on those sales. So check the links there. Again, I do talk a lot about Android smartphones and tablets on my channel. So if you love Android, feel free to subscribe and check out some other videos if you get a little bit of extra time. I hope you have a great day, and no matter what you're going through in life, life could be really hard. But like Kit Boga always says, you are valuable, and I really hope you could have a better week and really, really enjoy the time you have.